We're going to watch from Emergency Awesome today, The Boys Season 3 Herogasm announcement and top 10 WTF predictions. Let's swing into action, people.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new video for The Boys Season 3 Top 10 WTF Predictions. The showrunner just did a big Q&A where he answered a bunch of questions about what's going on with Season 3, the storylines, the new characters like Jensen Ackles coming on as Soldier Boy, even Jeffrey Dean Morgan coming to Season 3 as a new character. So we'll break it down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Obviously, careful for spoilers for everything that happened during Season 2 if you haven't seen any of the episodes yet. But just starting at the beginning, number 10, he confirmed that they're going to do a version of the Herogasm from the comics. No joke. The best way I can explain Herogasm in the context of the show without going so over the top that the video gets demonetized, because that's how crazy it gets, is that it's basically a giant superhero vacation week that the supers from all over the world go to, like the worst, most debaucherous spring break you could possibly imagine.
Oh,
this is the
boy.
talking about that.
I know what scene you're talking about. There isn't going to be a Soldier Boy, Homelander having sex scene. But I will tell you, this is exclusive for you guys. There will be a Herogasm in Season 3. You've earned it. You deserve it. And you're going to
Thank you.
Herogasm.
Thanks,
Season
Kripke.
3, The Boys.
He says a couple different things
Thank
during
you.
that, also involving Jensen Ackles Soldier Boy character, but massive superhero sex pile doesn't even begin to describe everything they get up to, so bring your penicillin and lots of hand sanitizer for Season 3 episodes. Imagine that final scene of Homelander from the end of Season 2 where he's on top of the Chrysler.
But
and he's
everywhere.
doing his business. Way crazier.
That's what I was afraid they were getting at.
It's all superheroes doing it in public at the same time at a vacation resort together. Clearly the show is rated R, it's super hardcore to begin with, but it should go without saying that they're going to pull back a little bit from the comic book version of Herogasm. Number 9, in that same breath when he's talking about that, he also confirmed that they're not going to do that Homelander Soldier Boy scene.
What
As you
the
can
hell?
probably imagine, Jensen Ackles would probably be down for a lot of things, but he probably would not want to do that. You could totally go read about it in the comics if you want to get the full
I was
blast.
gonna say, is it,
Remember,
like,
the really crazy scene of Homelander
crazy?
with the doppelganger from Season 2, Episode 4. There's so many things we could say about that whole storyline with the doppelganger, him turning into Stillwell, giving him all those glasses of milk. But the Soldier Boy Homelander scene that the showrunner is talking about them not doing is closer to what Homelander almost got up to with the doppelganger when he turned into another version of Homelander.
Damn.
The version of
Come on,
Soldier Boy
Jensen.
that shows up during the Herogasm storyline is also a very different version than the one that Jensen Ackles is going to be playing. He won't be such a beta to Homelander's Alpha Chad energy. Number 8, the showrunner said that when Jensen Ackles shows up as Soldier Boy, he's going to have a more contentious relationship with Homelander when he comes to Season 3. They're changing a lot about the character from the comics. Soldier Boy is the boys' version of Captain America. He was the Americans' first attempt at creating a superhero during World War II around the same time that the Germans in Vought were creating Stormfront. Don't worry, I will talk about her during Season 3 in a second too. But in the comics, Soldier Boy was a bumbling idiot that got all his squad mates killed on a mission because he was so terrible, and the comic book version of Mallory, who also fought during World War II, wound up killing him in retaliation for that. Then in the present day of the comics, there's also someone called Soldier Boy 2 who just wears the mantle, and he's just this beta male version of Captain America who runs the Payback team. Remember, their version of Marvel's Avengers, Stormfront also in the comics led the Payback team, so there might be some more references to Payback during Season 3. The version of the character that Jensen Ackles is playing will be more like Homelander. Like they say that he was Homelander before there was a Homelander, so when he shows up during Season 3, in the context of the show,
Will he be racist?
Homelander will feel even more insecure about him because he's such a celebrity. What they're doing, though, is they're sort of giving him a storyline a little bit like Stormfront's, so he'll be both versions of Soldier Boy. He'll be the one from the past and aspects of the one from the present.
Okay.
So just like Stormfront, he'll be 100 plus years old because they were created around the same time.
Will he be racist?
Back to World War II. Number 7, adding to that, they said that Jensen Ackles, when he shows up, will be one of the new antagonists. He's not the new main villain or anything. Homelander is kind of turning into the main villain if you didn't already think he was. Technically, Homelander has not been the main villain thus far. Butcher just
Homelander.
thinks about him
I
that
thought I was
way.
saying Butcher.
I
was like, what?
We're supposed to sympathize for the
to show up in
soups?
Season 3 and be a nice guy is going to be sorely disappointed. So he'll be a dirtbag, just like everyone else, just like Homelander. This is
Cool.
his quote about it. He says, he's one of these guys that's been around for decades of Vought history, and he was Homelander before Homelander, so he's from a different era, but he's got the ego and the ambition, and it just comes across in a different way because he's from a different time.
Awesome.
Kind of like a less racist version of Stormfront. Just as bad, but not racist in the way she was. He's not a Nazi or anything like that.
But he's still, he's got some bigotry.
He wasn't for civil rights.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
They've already talked about in the world of the show. They talked about his movies. And Tech Knight in the comics is a combination of Iron Man and Batman. He has his own Batcave. He doesn't have superpowers, but he uses technology to make himself a superhero. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is also a Supernatural alumni. Erik Kripke is the former showrunner of Supernatural. Jensen Ackles, coming from Supernatural.
We got to get Mark Shepard in here now.
Yeah, Richard
There was a bunch of Supernatural Easter eggs throughout the entire season. And the reason why I say Tech Knight is also because Jeffrey Dean Morgan, if you're talking about kind of a version of Batman from the DC universe, he was Thomas Wayne inside the DCEU, and he was almost a version of Flashpoint Batman in the Flash movie. So it'd just be really cool if they could bring him on as Tech Knight. It'd just be a fun wink at that.
I agree.
And even some of the stuff that Homelander was up to this season was messed up and twisted. Tech Knight also has a lot of that stuff going on too. But number 6, like I said, Stormfront will be back in burnt toast, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader fashion. The showrunner was very clear about her not being dead. This is the clip of him explaining that.
Stormfront is not at all dead. Homelander.
This is my first time hearing Erik Kripke.
We never saw her die. Little Stumpfront, or little Nazi Stumpfront, is still alive, and for someone who dreamt of a master race, that she's going to be like mutilated for a very long time because she ages slow.
So what he's saying is that when she does
gonna
come back,
be
her burns
suffering.
will heal because she does have super healing, but she'll be more like older Anakin Skywalker underneath Darth Vader's Sith armor, living out a very long life as this mutilated, ugly-looking version of herself. Number 5, they said that Kimiko will also talk a lot more during Season 3. He qualified this statement too because a lot of people heard him say this and thought that she'd start giving huge lectures and speaking out loud. No, what he meant is that because she's been teaching Frenchie to speak her special version of sign language, she's also starting to open up more to everyone else inside the boys too. Like she had that moment with Butcher where they kind of nod at each other and they both simultaneously realize what's going on between Homelander and Stormfront just from watching them do an interview together.
Love that
She'll
moment.
just start doing that with the other members of the boys, being more of a team member, a more well-adjusted version of the character, instead of just being sort of the X-Men version of Lady Deathstrike. She and Frenchie seem like they're getting really close at the end of Season 2, but they're not quite at the relationship level of Huey and Starlight yet. But speaking of which, number 4, Starlight and Maeve inside the Seven with Homelander. According to the showrunner, they won't be calling the shots or anything like that. They're not going to secretly be leading the Seven or making him do what they want him to do. But even though things are really tense between them, they're going to be operating business as usual because Homelander wants to continue to keep up this lie. Vought needs the lie of the Seven to persist in order for them to continue making money. But as you see during that ending scene, she's wearing her old uniform again. That should tell you kind of what the dynamic is. She has a little bit more freedom now within the Seven. They're not going to start chasing her down every time she doesn't do exactly what they asked her to do. Starlight and Huey are still going to be a couple. They made that pretty clear in their ending scene when he told her he was leaving the boys, but she was not. So Starlight is also now fully one of the boys. She has Butcher's respect, and she's totally on board with their way of doing things.
She's one of the Seven and one of the boys.
But number 3, a lot of you be happy about this. Black Noir's backstory. They did reveal that we're
No
going to
way.
learn more about what's going on.
No way.
A different version of the character from the comics.
Whoa.
Him being more like a vegetable at the end of Season 2 after his big fight with Maeve, but that's just them talking about Compound V zombies.
Big fight with
and
Maeve.
bringing
Big
people
fight with
back
Almond
from
Joy.
death, clear death using massive doses of Compound V. But in addition to teasing that really cool aspect of the comics, we'll also just learn way more about what's going on with him as a character. Just like we did with some of the other characters this season, like Frenchie, getting his backstory. Number 2, Victoria Neuman and the secret plot to take advantage of her new post. So I've already talked a little bit about this. She's probably just going to slowly pursue public office and become a little bit more like Vic the Veep in the comics, who she's based on. Victoria Neuman in the comics is a man just called Vic Neuman. He's the former CEO of Vought, and he's the current Vice President of the United States, who winds up becoming president after the previous president gets killed. He doesn't have any superpowers, but he does have deep ties to Vought. So obviously, the TV show version of Victoria Neuman is very different, but it seems like she's heading in that direction. Like, eventually she's going to use this post, running the Office of Superhero Affairs, regulating superheroes in Vought, then slowly try to run for office. And this also goes hand in hand with the future of the show, because the showrunner said that they have 5 seasons of the show planned. For those of you that were wondering,
just like how Kripke did for Supernatural.
He also made a joke saying that I try not to plan ahead that far because he said that Supernatural was only going to run for 7 seasons, and look how many Supernatural has gone for now.
Oh, I thought he was only around for 5.
White House running for office stuff till the later seasons. So for most of season 3, she'll just be running the Office of Superhero Affairs. But yes, I do think that she has deep ties to Vought, and she is their plant that they're trying to put in the White House so that they can control the government. But number 1, Homelander and Orion during Season 3. So the big thing with Homelander is that obviously he's slowly losing his grip on reality. That was what that whole Psycho scene was about in that ending when it zooms into his face and him on top of the Chrysler building. The one thing that's keeping him from being a full-blown comic book villain is his desperate need for attention. He needs the love of people. That's why he backed off when Maeve threatened him. No one will ever love you again. And that was the one thing that caused him to let up on Butcher and let him go. So if they're planning a 5-season arc, I think it'll be season 5 before we see him finally say, screw it, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going to do literally whatever I want, and he'll go full comic book villain. And also that goes hand in hand with Ryan's arc. Them trying to plan a 5-season arc out for him. Will he become the Superboy or the better version of Homelander that they want him to be and face off with Homelander? They also said that Butcher will be checking in on Ryan from time to time, sort of watching over him, and he's going to be another version of what Huey was for him during Season 2. Sort of the thing that keeps Butcher on the good path, being a good person.
That's neat.
But everyone, post all your predictions for The Boys Season 3 in the
I have 0 predictions.
Any of the storylines. I will be doing Season 3 videos as they reveal more information. There'll be more teasers and stuff as they start to film early next year. Hopefully they get episodes out by the end of next year, but it could be early 2022 before we see episodes. I will be doing videos for The Mandalorian Season 2 episodes in a couple weeks when that starts releasing, so as long as you have alerts enabled for my channel, you should see all those videos when I post them. And then after The Mandalorian Season 2, the Avengers WandaVision episodes will start dropping on Disney Plus as well. So congratulations to the giveaway winners for my last couple of Big Boys videos. Sean Clough and the Razor Hale, please email me on the About page.
Good time for TV, people. Good time for TV.
Click here for The Boys Season 3 teaser trailer, and click here for The Boys Season 2 Episode 8 finale video. Thank you so much for watching.
TV has saved the entertainment industry during the pandemic. Hell yeah. Let's talk about some of this. It's funny, I just finished Doom Patrol late last night. I don't want to give anything away. But, you know, speaking of the number one thing they talked about with Herogasm, it's like, well, what's not the first superhero show to do an collection of we had a community guideline strike very recent, so I'm trying to play it safe for like 3 days.
Community expression of physical love making.
Yes. To see it boy style with a bunch of soups. That's gonna be it'll be creative. I imagine you'll see a lot of weird, wacky, disgusting things on display during that sequence. I'm very excited to see what bizarreness they do that will be very challenging to get up on YouTube.
Yeah.
When we react to that, it's going to be so much fun. Jensen Ackles being in the show, he's my favorite part of Supernatural, and we're only on season 6 right now, but he's my favorite part of the show. It's funny how, with him being this Soldier Boy character, how like DC is doing a Peacemaker with John Cena. They're both like douchier versions of Captain America, right? For this show, which often seems like if there's a specific type of comic they riff on or make fun of, it tends to be the DC world that they're playing on. So I'm wondering with Soldier Boy if they'll be using him more to make some commentary a little bit more about Marvel, perhaps.
I can see that. I mean, that's partly what I was thinking during all those sequences, the clips being sourced from the first Captain America, especially if you have him playing the original Soldier Boy and then the updated Soldier Boy. To see Jensen Ackles play both those roles, it got me excited, because then I was thinking, well, what are we going to do? What version of the boys are we going to see in, the period, like World War II time? Like, are we going to flash back there and see kind of a boys-centric look on a Captain America-esque come-up or something like that, you know?
They were referencing the doppelganger scene here, and I did hear Erik Kripke regretted not going full out on that, like having, you know, Homelander, have some Homelander action there. And I remember when we were doing the reaction, I was a little bit bummed out that they didn't go all the way there too.
No Homelander.
But I think they're going to start going all out in the next one. I don't think he's going to pull any punches this time around.
They've earned it.
And you know, with Stormfront being this version of herself, I feel like she won't be maybe a main reoccurring character, but I imagine that whatever presence she has in season 3 or any future seasons, I'm getting like a weird Palpatine vibe. More like she looked like Anakin Skywalker at the end of episode 3, but I feel like she's just becoming this like Palpatine figure of sorts. Yeah.
Season 5 as the true string puller of everyone.
Yeah, there's something there.
And I like the idea of getting to know a little bit more about Black Noir.
Yeah, I mean, part of what makes him so charming and fun is he's a quiet character. You never hear him
body
talk.
language.
Yeah, sometimes you hear him make some noise, like when he's crying. So I don't know if it might detract a little bit, if in the context of the show, to learn too much about Black Noir. But I was kind of concerned that I might get that feeling with doing that with Butcher, but that just made him better. And I think that whatever they have in mind, it's probably going to work. I mean, I love Black Noir. I want more of his presence around. So yeah, I'm very excited for what they do there.
And Jeffrey Dean Morgan, too.
JDM, man.
Potentially. Just get everyone eventually from Supernatural.
Everyone from Super. Once Walker's canceled, Jared Padalecki.
Jared in there.
Get him in there. You know it's bound to happen.
That's why he took it. Erik Kripke was like, do something that's going to get canceled so we can get you in for season 4.
Oh, that's going to be so fun. I didn't even pick up on the little detailed nuance of Starlight having her original costume back, because when she was back in, you know, more revealing, skimpy outfit at the beginning of Boy Season 2, there was a lot of like commentary about that. We talked about that, yet I didn't even notice it when at the end of the season. Oh, yeah, she's wielding some more power. It's cool that she's playing like dual roles and it's both kind of out in the open.
Yeah,
like
I
she's
know.
with the boys and she's
They've made public statements about, like, Starlight's betrayed us. So now, yeah, she gets to walk in both worlds.
And now that the boys are also not fugitives, it's considered playing on both teams is a good thing now.
Yeah,
you know,
at least for us.
At least for us, you know, maybe not for some people within Vought. And you know, what they're talking about Victoria Neuman of being a plant from within inside of Vought. I don't know why my mind never even went there.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, she's, you know, the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez character, so maybe season 3 will do a riff on, they still can, for where they seem to go after a lot of like the political side of alt-right. Come on, guys. Whoever gets, I think it's so stupid people get annoyed for me. So I'm like, it's the show, right?
It's what they're taking on in the subtext.
It's so obvious. It looked like she was embodying like the AOC portrayal that I thought they'd be making fun of, like the liberal side and going after that with some real commentary on that agenda, which they still can, but I do find it to be more intriguing if in fact Victoria Neuman is a plant from within inside Vought. And that would make sense because certain people that were killed off, just like the CIA member at the beginning, I could never put it together. Why would she do that if she's working independently? I don't understand. I feel kind of dumb for just not concluding to this point, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, to be fair, it's still a mystery, and I do like that idea of you have this person who is posing as, I think that could be your liberal commentary right there, because there are a lot of criticisms that, you know, at least the Democratic Party as it's accepted in America is not that much different from the other side, at least in terms of its interactions with money and the abuses of power and deception and whatnot. And I feel like through her character, they could very much explore that, especially if the ultimate endgame, if the character she's based on is to be kind of incorporated, is for her to end up in the White House.
That's great.
Yeah, which is a long play too, you know.
And I'm also thinking that with Homelander, you know, going full psycho by the end of season 5, like if they're doing that much of a buildup to the point where the public, the whole world really believes him to be like the ultimate supervillain threat, that'd be really cool. And I love the idea of them having a solid conclusion by season 5. Yet there's this version of me more than Supernatural that is thinking this show often riffs on the political climate that we're in. So as much as there's evolution and changes in the political atmosphere, I feel like the boys could always have material to keep evolving their show.
And as long as superhero stuff keeps evolving
exactly.
too.
But it's also about, you know, character-driven storylines and like this idea with, Ryan being there too, Butcher looking after him. I love that approach of helping to ground him more into his humanity of being a caretaker. And, they didn't really talk much about what the possibility is for Ryan to come in the future. We'll see. Anyway, there's a lot of great stuff. After season 1 ended, we were like clamoring for season 2. Even though I feel like generally speaking, the responses overall season 1 is maybe a tad bit better and more focused, but I think season 2's finale just stuck the landing so strong and did it so incredibly well that I think we're going to be talking about when season 3 coming for the longest time. Anyway, guys, what's your predictions for season 3? Leave your thoughts down below. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell. Check out our reactions to The Boys. Much love, people.